Sure, we've got the Arch, interesting weather, the Cardinals, and where'd you go to high school? But St. Louis has something else, its own point of view.
There's really only one way I know how to get started on a Saturday morning, and it involves a cup of coffee and a walk down to the corner to get a Post-Dispatch. I glance at the front page, and then I turn to the back to check out my favorite cartoon, Postcard from Mound City.
My favorite description was a reader said it's an inside joke that only a St. Louisan would get. I got to think that because I grew up here, I think there's some level of truth when I draw these things.
Dan Martin has drawn the Weatherbird for the front page of the Post-Dispatch for 20 years. Postcard from Mound City came about almost as an accident.
10 years ago at Christmas, a lot of the columnists were on vacation, they were syndicated columnists, and the commentary page editor had a big blank space to fill, and she says, would you like to draw something? And I said, sure, and can I do whatever I want? How about Christmas gifts to people around St. Louis? And she said, sure.
This is actually a copy of that first one you did.
Right, right. And then a couple of weeks later, hey, we really like what you did, can you try it again? And it just sort of evolved. There was no great strategic plan by the newsroom or marketing department to come up with a local comic strip.
Postcard is the ultimate insider's peek at St. Louis, with a funny twist. Even the name of the strip is sort of an inside joke, since St. Louis hasn't really been widely referred to as Mound City in a long time. Within its panels you see famous, infamous, mythical, and typical St. Louisans, all experiencing life here as we know it. You get the Mound City take on everything from local issues to all those little daily frustrations that take up so much of our lives.
Where do you get your ideas?
Anywhere and everywhere. Probably the most common question I get is that, who writes all this for you? You know, I said, we don't have any writers. They don't assign writers to cartoonists. And so the ideas just come from wherever every other cartoonist gets ideas. It's just life and reading and walking down the street and watching TV and falling asleep and seeing something funny at the store. I know what's not funny. What's not funny is trying to analyze what's funny. It's like a comedian trying to figure out why a joke is good. And a cartoon is like a joke. If you have to explain it, you've totally lost your audience. So it's either going to hit you between the eyes or, you know, move on to the next.
It's an affectionate look at St. Louis, even when you make fun of it.
Sure, and even when I think I'm giving it a kind, although satirical pat on the head, I'll get letters from readers that say, how dare you say that about our town, kind of thing. And then I'll get letters from other readers that say, you know, you really should be harder on these people because they're real creeps. And you know, you really never know how a reader is going to respond to the artwork. During the baseball playoffs, I did a cartoon of a fan who was saying a bad word because he really wanted a championship. And this went on for a couple of sequences. And then a reader wrote in.
Okay, now wait, these are bad words.
Right. Well, a bad word is a star and a squiggle and a space mark and things like that. And it's the universal language of bad words for cartoonists. And Mort Walker has even cleverly named this sort of language, called it maledicta. It includes jarns, quimps, niddles, and grolixes. And then I got a letter from a kind reader who said I'm using too many bad words. And I wrote her back and told her I would watch my language. But I got such a kick out of the letter, I wrote Mort Walker, who sort of analyzed all this.
Mort Walker, who does Beetle Bailey.
And High and Lois, and the grandfather and very grandfatherly type, and our favorite cartoonist of all the cartoonists of the National Cartoonist Society. And he got such a kick out of it, he sent me a postcard back, and I'll frame that and put it up on the wall next to the cartoon, probably.
Now I see you've done a bunch of pictures of your buddy Bill McClellan.
Oh, I've made a living drawing Bill McClellan. We started here the same month, and we've been good friends ever since, and I've illustrated 2 of his books, collected books of columns, and he's the best subject matter I know in the whole newsroom.
He's got to be easy.
Walrus mustache, no eyes, hairy eyebrows. He's disheveled. He's a good sport, a great sense of humor, and a great target.
He's never commented that maybe you could make him a little better looking?
He knows that would be too steep of a hill to climb.
Here's a prediction. This Saturday, you're going to get a strange postcard from an interesting fellow from a place called Mound City.
what could be better than sitting around drawing funny cartoons? People mail you money and give you awards in return for drawing funny cartoons all day.